In rural Malawi, the majority of children go to school on an empty stomach. School attendance has since seen a decline as children would rather stay at home than go to school and learn while hungry. People in various communities in Lilongwe and Salima, determined to educate their children, thought of innovative ways to ensure that their children are fed. One of these innovations was burning firewood to cook porridge at the schools. The solution was effective but had adverse effects on the environment as rapid logging was occurring. VSO Malawi implemented the Community-Led Action for Sustainable Energy in Schools Classic project under the Climate Justice Innovation Fund to install 5 biogas chambers in the 2 districts as a sustainable energy solution. VSO Monitoring and Evaluation Manager Wezi Chimala said the organization identified the need of a more sustainable solution for energy, hence their intervention.
We identified a need, and the need was the high use of fuel wood for preparation of meals, not just for schools, but even in the households. We realized that the value for money was coming in not just for conserving the environment, also brought in an element of capacity building for the local community members who would be involved in the project. It brought in an element of awareness to the communities surrounding those schools, where they would now understand what biogas is all about, why it's beneficial to their communities, and how the biogas system is more sustainable. So when a concept was developed, we submitted it to the Scottish government through VSO Washington, and it was approved, so I implemented the project.
The biogas solution would see cow dung being used for fire, an alternative to the now frowned upon used firewood.
In discussing with the donor, they were of the view that we needed to identify schools that were in Lilongwe and close to VSO for ease of monitoring as well as ease of reach when we want to go and supervise the project.
Some of the schools currently benefiting from the project are Katonga Primary School, Chiponde Primary School, Mjemani Primary School, Nkupa Primary School, and Malinka Primary School. VSO involved various bodies and individuals on how to get the best results from the project. Mzuzu University lecturer Dr. Maxon Chidawa predicts that the project will see the demand for firewood reduced by 50%.
Because we just finished construction and the feeding of some plants, about the 3 of them that have been fed at the Mkupa, Katonga, and in Germany. We are here to feed at the Chiponde, and we are also here to feed at the Malika, because Malika there is no kitchen. But from what we have done so far, we project that after finishing and feeding and then testing the gas and commissioning the plants, we should be able to reduce the firewood demand by half. So for example, if they're using perhaps maybe 2 oxen carts, because in the villages normally they use the bundles, and we convert that into oxen carts. If they're using 2 to 3 oxen carts per week, they should be able to use maybe around 1.5 oxen carts or 1 oxen cart per week. And then the rest of the cooking should be done by biogas plant. That's what we anticipate. But if gas will come as much as we have designed the systems, it's anticipated that when it maybe cut half or maybe 75% of the firewood they're using per week.
Katonga Primary School headmaster James Liwewe expressed gratitude towards VSO for the project that would lead to more students attending school.
maphunziro awo science and technology akhalanso ozama chifukwa adziwa kuti kuli modern technology imene ikhozothandiziranso maphikidwe pogwiritsa ntchito biogas. Pakutero maphunziro awo azilimbikitsidwa kudziwa luso la science.
Visit Field Officer Kondwani Mondalo admitted that enrollment at the schools has improved.
Yeah, there's an improvement in the enrollment as compared to those days where we are using the firewood, because most learners in the local communities, whenever they hear that today they are going to be fed with the porridge, they don't want to miss school that day. So yeah.
Already getting rumors or say word from the headmasters that we're working with in the targeted schools, from other headmasters that are in surrounding schools, asking them why the same initiative is not taking place in their own schools, or when VSO might extend their hand.
Women who prepare porridge at the schools said using firewood often led to the children eating late, as it was becoming harder and harder to get firewood, which would sometimes mean wet wood in the rainy season.
Yeah, there is situation that some learners will be sent back to their homes if they didn't bring firewood. So that had an impact on their learning. Secondly, the lack of firewood resource in the area meant that they would walk long distances for them to prepare to collect that firewood. And also the time of cooking would be elongated because they would be cooking only when the learners have brought firewood. But in the current state, if gas is coming from the biogas plant, then begin cooking immediately.
One of the women who prepare porridge at Mchimani Primary School, Vano Gasesa, said the use of cow dung for the fires had a direct effect on their children's education, as the children would no longer learn on an empty stomach.
ana majapala pokaukawe karasi wanibolo ndia baba tsoka no libona kuti ana hemela sadole karasi azikhauli phalali zikhala za jangu.
We realized that the value for money was coming in not just for conserving the environment, also brought in an element of capacity building for the local community members who would be involved in the project. It brought in an element of awareness to the communities surrounding those schools, where they would now understand what biogas is all about, why it's beneficial to their communities, and how the biogas system is more sustainable.
I think in terms of the current plants which have built, we've committed to the communities that the plants need to be fed on a daily basis. So a key component in terms of sustainability of these plants will be the community mobilization to collect the dung on a daily basis. Because the initial feed will help them by employing some people to collect the dung, and those who have also got to bring the dung to the plant. And then we are paying somebody for feeding.
Because the main requirement for the system is the cow dung. The project is somehow self-sustainable.
So despite the school closure, one of the major challenges that I would indicate has been convincing communities to provide what we call cow dung. So at first the farmers did not really understand what's in it for them, what they stand to benefit if they collect dung from the cows that they're herding to be bringing to those schools for feeding of the biogas plants. It took a while.
The challenge which has been at the system of the biogas, in the project of biogas, has been the collection of mobilization of cow dung. So we'll be using the funds from the school gardens as incentives to the cow owners.
Cow dung farmer Malitino Misho emphasized the need for the farmers' commitment to the project. Misho said the farmers were all getting something out of it, not just a financial value, but that their children were now attending classes.
So we help the communities to do a prioritization of the challenges and to make them understand how bringing in this project would impact their lives and how it would help the communities see change in terms of their well-being and livelihoods, not just for the communities as a whole, but also for the schools where the children are going to do their education. We can estimate that having to help one child access a school meal at the schools using these biogas plants is calculated to mean we have helped at least 5 members of that household. So if this project was targeting to help 500 children, we have impacted the lives of at least 2,500 people, which as VSO is something to be proud of. We can point at the opportunities that VSO has offered to the volunteers and even the project managers that have worked in this project. We created employment for a few members or say citizens of Malawi. Talk of the artisans that have been involved in this project, they've been able to share information with other members of different villages surrounding those schools, telling them of the skills that they have amassed and the surface knowledge that they're able to transfer to those other members of the community surrounding those schools, I believe will also go a long way in helping surrounding communities have awareness and be sensible about some of these technologies that are taking place.
With the project being community-based, village headman Kakambo said he had been encouraging everyone in the community to play their part, little as it may be, whilst being mindful of the environment.
Biogas imeneyi ithandiza kwambiri kupatula ana sukulu komanso anthu ena amudzi ali ndi ufulu obwera kudzaphikirapo chimene angafune kuti ndi cholinga chonena kuti iwo aja aone ubwino wa biogas komanso aone umwini wa chinthu chimene chichi.
The environment is interlinked, so we can use this biogas system to generate gas. If you generate more gas than what is used, can be required for cooking. Or if the plant is not belonging to any cooking situation, which requires cooking, you can put in a system where you can generate even electricity from that biogas and feed it to the grid if it's of large amount, or in a local community like a mini grid.
The achievement of these outcomes is not solely tied to VSO. We have managed to do everything together, and if not for the assistance that we received from Zuzu University and FISID and the government, would not be where we are. I want to appreciate the support that our donors and our partners at global level gave us in the implementation of this project. So for VSO, it has been a learning experience. There's a lot of things that we have learned in the implementation of this project. Yes, we have conserved the environment, and yes, we have given the schools the needed change, and we've brought in new technology that the schools initially did not know. But as an organization, we're just grateful for the learning that has been had, and we look forward to scaling up the project in different districts in Malawi so that this initiative does not end here.
VSO plans on expanding the project to all 28 districts in Malawi. The organization believes that a community that nurtures education guarantees meaningful development.